Hello, everyone. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about narcissists and how they so easily feel threatened. So, narcissists have a very fragile sense of self, if you would. They they put on this demeanor of being a very confident person. They put on this air of being super self-confident, dominating in some ways, invincible, I guess you can say as well, and just self sufficient, well collected, and balanced. So they try to put on an air of being all of those things. And they try really hard to get people to believe that they are, confident, that they have a dominating presence in a good way, that they're balanced, that they're collected. They want people to believe that. And they try really hard to keep people's perceptions aligned with the way they want to be seen. But in fact, everything that the narcissist puts out about themselves, about who they are, is very fragile. It's very wobbly. And it takes next to nothing for the narcissist to just experience a drop in their confidence, like a severe drop in their confidence, a severe drop in their ability to stay collected, a severe drop in their invincible presence. It doesn't take much for all of that to be disassembled. And that just gives you an idea of how narcissists are very fragile beings. Everything that they want to be about, everything that they portray about themselves is not supported by strong beams. It's actually supported by very flimsy beams. And it doesn't take much to just cause all of that to kind of drop. And it's, sometimes when narcissists just experience that drop, it's moments like that where they try to escape the limelight. Maybe they go and hide away for a few days, go on the down low, fly under the radar so people don't really spend much time talking to them or seeing them, because narcissists don't like to be seen when they're not at their perceived best. They like when people see them at their perceived best. So, because it doesn't take much for the narcissist to kind of collapse in themselves, it doesn't take much for their false self, their ill-supported self to just collapse. They so easily feel threatened because so many things that people do or say, so many things that can happen, can cause their false self to experience that drop. And for this reason, they feel like there are threats all around them, like they're walking through minefields all the time. They feel like they're swimming with sharks, without a safety cage. That's how they feel. And they don't know how not to feel like that. Narcissists don't know how not to feel like there's a threat left, right, center, up, down, any direction that, you look, that they can think of, that they can conceive of. They feel there's a potential threat. And the reason they feel that way is because it's true. There are many threats all around them, but not because these threats want to attack them. It's because the narcissist doesn't want to see themselves for who they really are. They don't want to see their real self. The outside world is constantly reminding the narcissist of who they really are, and they don't want to see who they really are. And it's because they don't want to see who they really are that they feel threatened, because everyone reminds them of it. So if you have a nice, happy family, walking on the streets, something as simple as looking at a nice, genuinely happy family can cause the narcissist to feel an emotional crash, because they don't really know how to experience that. Or if somebody's very happy because of good news and they're kind of just, they're happily talking about a recent achievement, something as little as that can cause the narcissist to experience some form of collapse in themselves, because the narcissist doesn't really know how to feel proud about themselves. They might pretend to feel proud about many things, and they might do that quite often even, because they like to show off and get people's approval, people's attention, and it validates them. But they don't feel it in themselves. They don't feel the goodness of achievements as such. And the reason is they don't know how to appreciate things. So, because the outside world, in some way, shape, or form, constantly reminds the narcissist of who they really are and of their shortcomings, and because the narcissist doesn't want to see those things, the narcissist doesn't want to see their shortcomings, their imperfections, but because the world constantly reminds them of it, they see all of those things in the world that could potentially remind themselves of who they really are as a threat. And for that reason, narcissists never really have a sense of peace. They have this impending feeling that people are out to get them. They feel like people are trying to destroy their ego. They feel like people are trying to attack them. They feel like people are trying to take them down. And then they're always trying to be 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of those people that they see as trying to take them down. But the fact of the matter is, most people don't care enough one way or another to want to take the narcissist down. It's the narcissist that's creating this feeling in themselves, because deep down, that's how they feel. They feel that they are less than. They feel that they are lacking in so many areas. They feel that they can never be happy. They feel that there's nothing in them that's worth being proud of. But they try to camouflage all that. And then as they get reminded of those things, they feel like people are attacking them, but actually it's the narcissist just catching glimpses of who they really are. When they catch the glimpses of who they really are, they feel threatened. They feel bad. But they like to attribute that feeling as somebody else causing them to feel that, when in fact, they're creating it within themselves. And narcissists are unable to distinguish that. They are unable to make the distinction between what they're creating in themselves and what somebody else is doing to them. And the reason they're unable to create that distinction is they have an inability to genuinely self-reflect, to genuinely acknowledge there's something about them that can be improved. In that, if they acknowledge it, they can kind of work that aspect of them into a better place, into an improved place. They struggle immensely with that. So in a nutshell, that's why narcissists feel so easily threatened, is because the real world is constantly showing them who they really are. But at the same time, they're constantly trying to run from who they really are. But because the real world and everybody in it is constantly trying to show them who they really are, not trying to, it just happens naturally, they feel threatened, and they often have the feeling that people are out to get them. And so sometimes they'll strike at people for no reason. They'll plan to harm somebody for no reason other than that the narcissist might be catching glimpses of the true self. And they don't take accountability for themselves, and they like to blame other people for what they feel. So narcissists will always feel easily threatened, paranoid, and they just cannot really escape that feeling of impending doom. No matter what they do, they can never quite shake that feeling off. Like things are going to work out really badly for them. That's how they feel.